Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high here this morning. The new top is just above $108,000. Please make some noise for that. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as all the breaking news you need to know, including European MP says Trump will create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What is the EU doing? It is time to change the paradigm and protect our people from inflation. Preach. Also, breaking news, publicly traded cannabis company Leaf Brands adopts Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. Another one bites the dust. And another one. That's right. Crypto trends shaping the Middle East blockchain future as well. Talking about that oil money pouring into the Biddy. We'll also be discussing Mt. Gox transfers $172 million worth of the Bitcoin to new wallets as Bitcoin hovers near $107,000. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin could hit $500,000 per coin in the current cycle if this happens, according to crypto analyst Michael Saylor. And speaking of a $500,000 Bitcoin, we also have Tom Lee of Fundstrat says the U.S. Bitcoin reserve could push Bitcoin to 500,000. I say that's conservative. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin booming to $1 million per coin with Trump at the helm adopting a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes, hit the subscribe, then hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 1851. I'm your host, JV. It's December 17, 2024, just above 108,000 is the current all-time high. And when we're done with the news from the pod, we're going to flip it into a pump watch and watch the pretty little bitty continue to rise. Let me know how that sounds. And again, welcome everyone just joining us. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. You should be able to see Coin 360 on your screen. Bitcoin in the green, XRP in the green, having a nice little pump as their stable coin got launched today. Ether back in the red, back under $4,000. Checking out coinmarketcap.com. Yesterday, we were in price discovery as far as market cap is concerned as well. Today, it's at 3.73 trillion and still booming. And the Bitcoin market cap is at an all-time high, just above 2.1 trillion. We got roughly, volume-wise, 190 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance currently sitting at 56.5%, with the Ether dominance back on the decline at 12.7%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Pudgy Penguins leading the pack, 558%. Good lord. And BitGet token up 12%, and Kronos up 11%. And speaking of Kronos, the owner of Crypto.com, he just met with Trump. I saw the proof of work photo. I'll share it with you here in a little bit. But anyways, also checking out the crypto bubbles. We get a visual perspective. Let's start on the day, and then we'll zoom in on the month. Most of the market back in the green, which we love to see, and zooming out on the month, virtually everything crushing it. And checking out the Crypto Greed Inferior Index. Today, we're rated an 87 in extreme greed as we continue higher and higher. Yesterday, 83. Last week, a 78. And last month, a 90 in extreme greed. And checking out the time chain calendar, we have 174,807 blocks until the next halving of 2028. And we're currently sitting at block number 875,193. And today, you can exchange one fiat US dollar monopoly money for 934 of unFWitable Bitcoin, impregnable, immutable, unconfiscatable, 934 sats per dollar. That number is just going to get smaller and smaller as Bitcoin continues to monetizing fiat, gold, real estate, and assets all around the world. So yeah, man, here's the latest. The headline here reads, Bitcoin price all-time highs driven by the spot volumes. Analysts are eyeing 115,000 next as the next logical target. Robust buying in the U.S. session followed the explosive weekend price action, which saw a strong spot push on Binance. Notable perpetual future volumes on KuCoin on Sunday as traders pushed the Bitcoin price to new all-time highs through the 103, 104 sell walls. Massive shout out to Fresh. He just gifted 5 MicroStrategy memberships to the channel. So congrats to all the new members, including Sean Blake and Crash crashes with the quickness. Omar Lopez and Terry Ortman, you've all been hooked up with the MicroStrategy membership of the channel on behalf of Fresh 6. So show Fresh some love. If I had the gong, I'd strike that mofo for you, brother. Thanks for the support. Now, in addition to the steady spot buy volumes, positive news flows about the new Bitcoin purchases from MicroStrategy and Semler Scientific hit the headlines at the start of the day. Semler Scientific purchased 211 Bitcoin for $21.5 million at virtually just short of 1019 per coin, as well as MicroStrategy acquired an additional 15,350 Bitcoin for another $1.5 billion at just above 100,000 per coin, making it MicroStrategy's first purchase at an average of above 100,000 per coin. And you already know he's going to be buying the top forever, Laura. And now they're literally crushing it. I mean, he's flexing right here. MicroStrategy has now acquired 15,350 Bitcoin for $1.5 billion at 100,000 per Bitcoin and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 46% year to date and 72%, quarter to date and 72% year to date. And as of the 15th, we hodl 439,000 Bitcoin acquired for $27 billion at 61,000, their average buy. And according to independent market analyst, on-chain analyst Willy Woo, more than $3 billion per day have entered the Bitcoin network over the past 30 days. The data point that highlights the bottomless appetite that market participants have for the biddy at the moment. Quoting him here, the last 30 days has seen more than $3 billion per day entering the Bitcoin network. Now, robust daily inflows on the spot Bitcoin ETFs are also consistent of catalysts at the Bitcoin ascension to new all-time highs. This week ending December 12th saw $2 billion of inflows into the ETFs. Yesterday, the total volume was over $3 billion. We're witnessing unprecedented volume. And keep in mind, fam, only 450 new Bitcoin are being mined each day. So we're going to have a supply shock. There's already the lowest amount of quantity of Bitcoin available on the supply. So you already know what follows next, new all-time highs. And according to independent Bitcoin researcher and investor Timothy Peterson, the Bitcoin price is likely headed to 115,000 just based on the ETF fund flows. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Now for a little breaking news, and I'll pull up some of the live charts. This is big, probably the biggest story circulating on crypto Twitter right now as far as in Bitcoin. European MP says Donald Trump will create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Everyone's confirming he's going to do it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, fam. So what is the EU doing? That's a brilliant question she proposes. It's time to change the paradigm and protect our people from inflation. Amen to that, and much respect goes out to her. Also, publicly traded cannabis company. Let's go. Leaf Brands adopts Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. You got to love it. And pulling up some of the live charts, family. Let me switch up the scene so you guys can see it very clean. There you go. So yeah, we're right now, this is via Coinbase, via TradingView. Let's start at the 1 hour and then work our way backwards. This is the 1 hour chart live and in the flesh right now, a massive rising wedgie. I love to see that. The current top is roughly 1082, 1083, depending upon the exchange. According here, it's there's a high. Obviously, we had a big corrective candle from there, but Bitcoin's still maintaining at above 1062 at the time of the live stream. And zooming out from the 1 hour, and again, when we're done with all the news and the podcast segment, we'll flip it back into a pump watch. We'll jam out to some Chandy Jams and watch Bitcoin continue to go up forever, Laura. There's also a rising wedge on the 4 hour. This chart looking extremely bullish right now. And zooming out from there, we'll take a quick look at the daily chart. Shows you we've had several consecutive green daily candle closes, rising wedgie as well, which we love to see. The only beautiful type of wedgie there is the rising wedgie, of course, on the Bitcoin chart. And also checking out the 1 week. I mean, on Sunday, we had the highest weekly candle close of all time. We're continue marching north. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, virtually 7 or 8 consecutive weekly candle closes since the November 5th presidential election, which we witnessed during our live. We just been going up. And keep in mind, Trump isn't even in office yet. Gary is still chairman until January 20th. But this message goes out to you, Gary. Go home and get your shine box, save some face. Nipinator is going to chase you right out the SEC. So you already know. And zooming out from the weekly, we'll quickly take a glance of the monthly. You can see the Moonvember candle was the largest Bitcoin acceleration we've ever had in a monthly time frame, and December has not been disappointed. We're continuing to climb virtually 1, 2, 3,000 per day, continuing to hit all-time highs as we continue in price discovery. What do you think the peak will be here over the next couple of weeks for the closeout of December before entering 2025? Please do let me know in the comments. So our next story of the day, here's what's crack-a-lackin', gentlemen, over in the Middle East. Headline reads, crypto trends are shaping the Middle East. Blockchain future. That's right. The United Arab Emirates, the UAE, positioning itself as the global hub for the blockchain and crypto innovation, with key trends emerging in Sharia compliant services, stable coins, and international talent migration, according to industry leaders. They just had the big event, Bitcoin Mina. And of course, we had Eric Trump give the best speech there. We have covered that several times since then, and there was a lot of very powerful speeches. And I think they're acquiring mass amounts of Bitcoin and just haven't made the massive announcement. Max has been hinting at this for a long time. Places like Qatar, this event was in Abu Dhabi. There's a lot of wealth in the Middle East. It's all that oil money. Now, Cointelegraph spoke with Block Daemon's chief revenue officer and CoreDAO's head of ecosystem growth, Adam, and MatterFi's head of business development to get their insights on the trends from the UAE and the Middle East. And here's the inside scoop, family. They described the UAE as a launch pad for the blockchain project, citing its regulatory clarity compared to the other jurisdictions. Quoting them here, our expectation for this market is that it is going to move much faster. This market's going to leapfrog ahead in global rankings really quickly. They also said the country has been able to attract the right talent, highlighting the influx of talent relocating from London, India to the Asian Pacific region. Quoting them again, when you get the right people, the right companies, and the right regulatory framework, this is the combination of success or for success. Now, the demand for Sharia compliant crypto services is another significant trend, particularly for DeFi. Islamic finance prohibits interest-based lending, focusing on profit-sharing agreements. Lenders and borrowers share investment risks, and both parties share their losses and profits. Sharia compliance is one of the most important narratives at the moment for the Middle East, not just for Bitcoin, but also for DeFi. The CoreDAO executive said it opens up possibilities for Muslim community members, which is massive, by the way, quoting them here. Sharia compliance will unlock many possibilities for a lot of the people in the Islamic world and probably beyond that, because projects are about to get ethically aligned. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it is Sharia law approved. We have covered this previously in the podcast, like a while back. One of the head leaders, I'm sorry, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he said Bitcoin, is approved ultimately. So it gives people the green light in the Muslim community to stack that biddy without it being considered, what's the term where it's like a sin? I forget the term Andrew Tate always uses. But anyways, you guys remind me in that chart when you do something sin-like. But anyways, he said this was the reoccurring demand in the Middle East and that many builders are already crafting strategies for complying with the Sharia law. And in September, Bybit introduced Sharia compliant crypto account. Nice. Catering to investors seeking haram. That's what I was looking for. Haram. When it's not compliant with Sharia law, they say it's haram. It's haram. But anyways, so Bitcoin for the win there. Now, he also pointed out potential impact of the dirham peg stablecoins, which I don't know nothing about, so let's break it down, which could strengthen the UAE's local payment infrastructure. I guess that would be their local stablecoins. On October 18th, the stablecoin issuer received an initial nod from the country's central bank for a potential stablecoin pegged to the UAE dirham. I guess that's their local currency. They said it just shows a focus on the local payment method, which is basically a dirham, unlike the US dollar or Bitcoin being a legal tender. He also said it might take some time for the country to adopt Bitcoin as a recognized means of payment. However, this doesn't ignore the fact that the UAE is setting up an example of how innovation should look like. So there you have it. Big money entering crypto in real time. I think all the smart money is racing to acquire Bitcoin right now, especially knowing Trump's going to be making the announcement as soon as he gets in office and the plan for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, which Cynthia Lummis has already proposed. And we already know we've got many insiders, such as Michael Saylor. He was recently on the news making the rounds. He said he's been friends with the Trump family for 20 years, and he believes that Trump will make the Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States. Eric Trump echoed the same sentiment. So their entire team and family is all saying the same thing. It's only a matter of time. So stack thy biddy accordingly. We may see parabolic parabola, as it's referred to, where Bitcoin just continues to melt the bears' faces. Please, someone send a wellness check on Peter Schiff over in Dorado, Puerto Rico. He's going to need it. Just saying. So let's continue with our next story of the day. Here's the latest regarding Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox transfers $172 million worth of Bitcoin to the new wallets as Bitcoin hovers around 107. Again, the current top all-time high price discovery is sitting just above 108.2 on the Coinbase exchange, and we can break back above re-enter price discovery any moment. So yeah, Mt. Gox, the long bankrupt crypto exchange, transferred $172 million worth of Bitcoin to an unknown wallet less than 24 hours after the crypto hit a new almost all-time high of 108. Arcam Intelligence showed the exchange moved 1,600 Bitcoin to two untagged addresses. That was on December 17th today, split between 1,427 and 191 Bitcoin. The portion of the 1,400 Bitcoin transfer ended up in the wallet starting with, it's irrelevant, we're not going to read the wallet addresses out loud, but nonetheless, it's all public knowledge. And then the other was less than 108 Bitcoin. Now, the 108 Bitcoin and 191 Bitcoin cycled through several of the wallets before ending up in this other wallet, which currently holds 300 Bitcoin. It's currently unclear why Mt. Gox moved the funds. The exchange fell into bankruptcy in early 2014. The past movements of its Bitcoin holdings have been followed by creditor payouts. The latest movements come after the Mt. Gox December 5th shuffle of over 24,000 Bitcoin, worth $2.5 billion at that time, obviously worth a tremendous amount more since, to an unknown address 12 minutes after the crypto crossed 100,000 for the first time. Also, Arcam shows the historic exchange still holds about 36,000 Bitcoin, roughly worth $4 billion across the wallets in which it controls. Mt. Gox creditors can receive their payouts in Bitcoin if they prefer. Bitcoin has traded above 100,000 since the Friday, December the 13th, and Mt. Gox's latest move, usually seen as bearish, and seemed to... Correct me if I'm wrong, but the official date we broke six figures for the first time was on December 4th. I know because we did a celebration watch for several hours and we witnessed it. And since then, we've just been going parabolic pretty much, hitting new all-time highs over and over again, which we love to see. Now, anyways, I don't think the government, or I don't think there's going to be a big dump personally from that Mt. Gox. I think the people who are smart enough to be early adopters of Bitcoin and have Bitcoin exposure from Mt. Gox, which was one of the early exchanges, that's the smart money. And they know where we're at in the cycle. So I'm not anticipating a large dump. I'm not concerned about it. I think we're going to see a supply shock from the likes of massive buying continuing from Larry Fink, BlackRock, Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, and countries as well as the nation state adoption continues. The race is on, just like we had the space race. This is the Bitcoin race to see who stacks thy biddy. Now let's get into some bullishness, shall we? Here you go. Bitcoin could hit 500,000 this cycle if this happens. According to crypto analyst Miguel Van de Pop, he shared on X that the top crypto asset, Biddy, could reach $500,000 per coin this cycle. Well, we all know that. The rainbow chart shows the following. Check out the rainbow chart. The last cycle should have gone way higher, but it didn't reach the extreme phase. If time passes and this cycle is longer for the Biddy, the price increases automatically. I like that. Now, Van de Pop also says the altcoin markets are ready for the next wave. Quoting the analyst here, the game plan is to stick into the positions as this is the time to maximize your returns. This might mean your positions, depending upon your risk appetite, will result in a potential return of 3 to 5x in Biddy valuations. Why is that a case? Well, most of the alts have literally not been breaking out yet, as they are still in the accumulation zone in their Bitcoin pair. That's a great sign if you're currently allocating and ready for that next big move. However, the next big move is going to be important to start taking profits from, as the run will be volatile with multiple of those crashes that we have seen in the past week. Now, JV's strategy is polar opposite. I just like to hodl, not get involved in the trading game and timing tops and bottoms. It's been working incredibly well since I started in 2017. Accumulate, hodl, don't sell, hodl, don't sell. And I repeat, hodl, don't sell. No need to trade. You ain't got to do nothing. Bitcoin's up. When I first got started, Bitcoin was $1,500, right? I didn't have to trade. I didn't have to time the top or try to get lucky or risk anything. I just held. You know what I mean? Unwavering faith. And here we are, sitting above 106,000 today, virtually zero risk. So That's my top strategy. Dollar cost average and continue to accumulate sats. Ignore the fiat price action unless you're playing that game. If you're into the trading and that's the game you're playing, so be it. I wish you luck. But most people it don't work out for. You know what I mean? I dare say 90% of traders lose, and then maybe 96% of traders lose. And typically it's the top 4% that win. So, you know what I mean? Exercise caution accordingly. My bad. 2.2. Yeah, 2.2 million in play according to the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser. He's the high priest. The high priest has spoken. 2.2 million. Let's go. But anyways, next story of the day, we're going to discuss another 500 million prediction in a strategic Bitcoin reserve with Trump in power. And this is according to Fundstrat's Thomas Lee. He's very conservative by nature. So for him to say this is going to send Bitcoin to 500,000, it makes me believe even more. We're going to 2.2 million this cycle as Max is predicting. And then we'll get into $1 million prediction, which is my personal prediction I've been calling 1.1 million with Trump making the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the United States and stockpiling the biddy and making America the Bitcoin mining hub of the world. You feel me? And then we'll dive into some live Q&A and we'll flip it to a pump watch. We'll pull up the charts and we'll jam out to some fantastic Bitcoin music, some Chandy jams. So there you have it. Okay, next story of the day. Headline reads, a U.S. Bitcoin reserve can push the biddy to 500,000 per coin. That's right. And let me know if you saw this interview with Fundstrat. It was recently on TV. So as the Bitcoin price dances above 100,000, Fundstrat's head of digital asset strategy remains unfazed by the speculation of an overheated crypto market. We have this guy, his name is Pharrell. He dismissed the idea that the current rally has reached its peak, quoting him here. I don't think that we are at or super close to a cycle top, he asserted, emphasizing that key market indicators and on-chain metrics remain far from the danger zone. Pharrell pointed to the notable absence of excessive leverage in the cycle compared to the last one. Last cycle, we had a lot of unhealthy leverage, perhaps definitely illegal leverage. That's right, with FTX, Alameda, and all the shenanigans which were going on in the markets. He also says flows have still been pretty consistent, spot volumes continuing to rise on the whole, which is definitely bullish. And as speculative fervor returns, Pharrell acknowledged the resurgence of legacy tokens like XRP and Cardano, while he expressed some skepticism in the continued rally behind those names. He highlighted enduring strength in stablecoin issuance and ETF inflows, particularly for Ethereum. Now, Ethereum recaptured 4,000 the other day, right back. It's under 4,000, so 4,000 is currently the ETH resistance. He says that the ETF flows have been solid, especially compared to the Bitcoin ETF flows, comparing the Ethereum ETFs. Now, that institutional momentum prompted Fundstrat to add Ethereum back into the core portfolio after a long underweight position. He explained the marginal buyer for Ethereum right now is TradFi, attributing the shift to growing ETF inflows and the CME futures activity. He believes that Ether is increasingly perceived as a tech-like asset by traditional financial players akin to the unprofitable tech stock poised for growth. That's how I am perceiving Ethereum as well. I'm looking at it as like a tech stock, nothing like Bitcoin, can't be compared, completely different technology. I mean, for starters, Ethereum has an unlimited infinity max supply, whereas Bitcoin's a genuine store of value. There can never ever be 21 million because 4 or 5 million are lost and gone forever. So there really only ever be 14, 15 million Bitcoin circulating, potentially less as people continue to lose their precious little bitties. So you got to keep that in mind. Bitcoin has true scarcity. Ethereum has no true scarcity at all. They can print unlimited just like the US dollar. But anyways, discussing price targets, Pharrell expressed measured optimism while Bitcoin's next leg could be fueled by speculative bets on the potential US Bitcoin strategic reserve, which I think is a very strong possibility of happening as we have Trump at the helm and his family has already confirmed it. His team has already confirmed it. Michael Saylor has already confirmed it. He says if a strategic reserve were announced, we're on a very quick path to 500,000. And I couldn't agree more with that. He also says the major driver for the cycle is going to be whether or not we get the Bitcoin strategic reserve. He says, in such a reserve, if it materializes, we're talking 300,000 plus Bitcoin, because I think it would spark a sovereign bidding war. And that's precisely what I'm anticipating. We refer to that as the global hash wars or game theory, which we have been preaching here on the channel for a very long time, which is going to lead us into our feature story of the day, as we have 1,100 people here watching. Now for our feature story of the day. Trump confirms Bitcoin reserve plans. This can send the Bitcoin market cap to 15 trillion, sending Bitcoin to 1 million per coin. Let me start with my personal prediction, which I've been sharing here on the stream. My bear scenario, which I've been calling from earlier in the year for this cycle, is 250,000. I no longer believe the bear scenario is even in play because we're too bullish since Trump won the election and all the talk of the Bitcoin strategic reserve and all the other bullishness. It's just endless bullishness. So I actually ripped that up on stream. Yeah, I mean, that was like a ritual. It's not happening. 250 is too bearish. So the base case, which I believe can happen, yeah, I mean, if we don't hit the bull scenario, is 420. Is it based? Yeah, but I'm a little based. Happy 420 broskies. JV's bull scenario, which I think is most likely to occur with Bitcoin strategic reserve happening with Trump, our POTUS, signing the bill as soon as he takes office, January 20th. This can send Bitcoin to 1.1 million per coin while he's in office. And I think we're going to hit the peak still in 2025, which gives us a potential of a $1.1 million Bitcoin price by 2025, which is next year. We're only a couple of weeks away. And sayonara, 2024. It's been fun, but hey, we're looking forward, not looking past. We may never see a sub 100,000 Bitcoin price ever again. You may never see a sub 1,000 sats per dollar. I mean, you're only going to see below less than 1,000 sats per dollar. You're never going to get more than 1,000 sats per dollar ever again because we're so bullish right now. And Max Kaiser is making me look bearish because he just called for a 2.2 million Bitcoin in play for this cycle. He tenfolded his original prediction of 220,000. And I know that's possible as well. And let me explain why. Because what if all the worlds or leaders in the world say, let's get rid of this gold precious metal. We can't move it. It's old. It's outdated. Peter Schiff drools over it. We don't want it no more. And they say, we're going to trade it for Bitcoin, just like El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, shout out Bukele, says they're currently sitting on roughly $3 trillion worth of untapped gold mines. They're going to mine the gold. They're already starting the process. Then they're going to sell it for Bitcoin. It's demonetizing gold in real time. Michael Saylor recently broke down 2 scenarios that will send Bitcoin to millions of dollars per coin. One scenario is the demonetization of gold, which Bitcoin is demonetizing right now in real time. The gold market cap is roughly $18 trillion. What if the United States and other leaders and countries around the world say, heck, we don't want this no more. Let's sell it for the superior asset, which is Bitcoin. And then they do that. And then gold becomes practically worthless or so devalued, nobody wants it anymore. And all of that money just flows into Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, we got a $20 trillion market cap. And then the gold market cap goes from 17 trillion to 2 trillion. It's like we do a reversal of where Bitcoin is today versus gold. It just flips around. That can happen. Another scenario he laid out. The United States don't even have to sell their gold reserves. They can just print the money out of the thin air. They have the power to do so. They have the money printer go brr. Money printer go brr. They invest all of that new money printed into Bitcoin. It obviously is going to hyperinflate the dollar even more, but we all know the future of the dollar is not looking so bright. And then what happens is the United States becomes and retains its superpower status of the world, and no other country is likely going to be able to do the same thing. There's only so much Bitcoin to go around. El Salvador already has the first mover's advantage. They started adopting the Bitcoin back in 2021. I believe it was 1 year after Saylor was the first publicly traded company to put the Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Now, many other countries are doing the same, adopting Bitcoin. Big announcements are in play for 2025. We also have many publicly traded companies doing the Saylor put, doing the convertible note witchcraft to be able to print more money through their stocks somehow, some way, and converting it into Bitcoin. We're seeing it left and right. New companies adding Bitcoin to the treasury. I even announced today a new cannabis company doing the same thing. So you already know Bitcoin is demonetizing all assets across the world, not just gold, but real estate, fiat, everything. It's all going to zero. against Bitcoin. But I know I'm preaching to the choir. So let me get into this headline and just read to you what we see here. Trump confirms Bitcoin reserve plans with a 15 trillion price boom predicted. And hopefully you guys can see my screen here. This is a Forbes article. The Bitcoin price has skyrocketed past 100,000 per Bitcoin since the Trump pump election, which was on November 5th. As you can see here, with chief executive of major Wall Street giant admitting Bitcoin FOMO. Now all as an influential billionaire warns of the looming debt crisis can collapse the U.S. dollar. Trump has already confirmed he plans to establish a U.S. Bitcoin strategic reserve. That's right. You have Trump's family. Recently, Eric Trump was just speaking at the Abu Dhabi event. He confirmed it. Michael Saylor was recently on the news making the rounds. He ultimately said, I've known the Trump family. We're close friends for 20 years. He says he believes Trump is going to do that. So all the people in the know what's coming down the pipeline, family. So shout out to the Trumpster. Now, we are going to do something great with crypto because we don't want China or anybody else, but others are embracing it. And we want to be ahead. That's right. You got Russia. You got China. There's a lot of wealthy countries and nations around the world racing for the IBID. He says, yes, I think so. Trump said in a response to a question about whether the U.S. will create a Bitcoin strategic. He already confirmed it from Trump's own mouth. Yes, I think so. Eric Trump, yes. Saylor, yes, it's coming. So stack them sats accordingly, family. The price is only going to continue to go up. In July, the Republican candidate Trump promised to create a strategic Bitcoin national reserve for the states, predicting Bitcoin could eclipse gold's 16 trillion market cap. Amen. During the appearance at the Bitcoin 2024 conference, we also had Republican Senator Lummis had introduced the bill to Congress entitled the Boosting Innovation, Technology, and Competitive Through Optimized Investment Nationwide Act, which is an acronym for Bitcoin. Awesome. Which proposes the U.S. buy 1 million Bitcoins over 5 years to reduce the spiraling 35 trillion national debt. Michael Saylor was on the news saying he thinks Trump should purchase like 10 million Bitcoin. Why stop at 1 million if you can just print out of thin air? Meanwhile, Russia lawmakers this week revealed to be pushing the country to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve. They're all copying it. Now that Trump has verbalized what he is going to do, the other countries are entertaining it and probably doing it already behind the scenes. So you already know. Putin praised Bitcoin as an alternative to foreign currency reserves following the seizure of its funds by Western governments in response to the invasion of the Ukraine. The possibility that Trump follows through on his Bitcoin reserve plans have spurred huge Bitcoin price predictions. And you already know, family, like I said earlier, Max Kaiser's calling for 2.2 million in play for this cycle. So let me know if you guys agree, disagree. What's your price prediction for this cycle peak? Let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to read the comments out loud. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. And let's flip this mofo out into a pump watch, and we'll watch the pretty little bitty chart as Bitcoin continues to break new all-time highs.